to the Sports Prodigies podcast with your hosts. I'm Aiden.
And I'm Jeremy.
And before we get started, everybody that's on YouTube, go like and subscribe this video. And if you're on Spotify, go follow. Today, we are honored to have UFC light heavyweight fighter Devin Clark on the podcast. Say what's up, Devin.
Hey, how you guys doing?
What's going on?
We're good. How are you?
I'm good. Just got done training a little bit.
Sounds good. For any of you guys who don't know, Devin Clark will be fighting Alonzo Menafield at UFC 250 on June 6th.
Yeah, we wanted to wish you the best of luck in that, Devin.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, so we wanted to talk to you. So obviously you use your fighting as a platform to speak on Down syndrome. Would you like to tell the viewers and inform them about possible places to possibly donate or get knowledge on what you're really talking about?
Well, there's usually a lot of programs in your local community, but my favorite one right now is actually the one at Jackson Wink MMA. It's an incredible MMA program, and that allows kids with any disabilities or anything like that to come in and learn mixed martial arts and be a part of something like that. And they're working with UFC fighters and different fighters and stuff and different coaches and learning just some basic skill and some top-notch skill. So there's some pretty impressive kids that come through here. It's a pretty unique program and it's the basis to where a lot of these kids have been told that they can't do stuff because of their disability or whatnot, if you want to call it a disability. But they come in here and they kick butt, man. They hit the pads, and a lot of them work with Mike Winklejohn, world-class coach, and it's a pretty cool program.
Yeah, that's great. When did you first find your love for MMA?
It was after I wrestled in junior college and won a national championship, and then after that, kind of messed up in school. Then I found myself just working construction, and it was always something that kind of interested me just because I always kind of wanted to go against the grain with stuff. It's like, I want to try fighting because it's a little bit edgy. So, of course, my girlfriend was kind of against it. My parents were kind of against it. And I'm like, I'm going to do this. And I tried it out. My dad had a friend that owned a small, it was like a room in the back of a gym, in a workout gym, and we'd go in there and we'd just spar every day and team Noxu. And then I found out I was good at it, so kept with it.
That's amazing to hear, and it's really crazy how every single person has a different story, and obviously yours may be different than a lot of others, but you're very successful in the end.
Oh, thank you. A lot of guys, I was never a fan of MMA and UFC. I didn't watch a whole lot of UFC. I'm still, you probably wouldn't call me the biggest fan yet, but obviously it's my job and my career, so I pay attention. But I never was the biggest MMA fan. It kind of just found me, and I fell in love with most of pretty much every aspect of it when it comes to getting the cage and putting everything on the line.
Yeah, for me, UFC or MMA in general is one of my favorite things to watch, but the average person just has no idea what it feels like to be in a fight.
No, it's a rush. It's fun. It's comparable to a few things, but to get that rush, that feeling before you go out, you're walking in the hall, you hear the fans, you're watching on the screen, you see the fight before you, someone get knocked out. Like, it's a lot to go through, but once you go through that and accomplish that, it's amazing. It's one of a kind.
So bringing my next question, what's the feeling like when you run out to the octagon?
What would it be? I don't know, like bliss. It's kind of a moment of, you're not thinking, at least I don't anyways. I think everybody's different, but some guys, they'll have the nerves and everything up until they get to the cage. I have the nerves and everything up until I walk out of my locker room. Once I walk out of my locker room, it's go time. There's no thinking. I'm hyped. I'm ready to go. This is fun. It's fun at that point.
Devin, I have an interesting question for you, and if you have an answer, it'd be amazing. But if you could fight one person Who would it be and why?
Interesting. I haven't really thought about that before, but it'd probably be like, I just forgot his name.
All good.
It's all good. If you
I've
know
been
later,
studying.
you can always tell.
Yeah, we'll come back to it. I'll think of it.
Yeah.
He just got inducted to the Hall of Fame. Randleman.
Kevin Randleman.
Kevin Randleman.
There you go.
Yeah, because we have similar styles, and it just he was a beast. So a fight like that'd be crazy. I would love to fight a guy like that.
Yeah.
And I look up to him.
Since the pandemic started, a lot of stuff has been shut down, and I assume your gym was shut down. So has it been hard to train for your upcoming fight?
It was. I just did a lot of home stuff, and I live in South Dakota, and I come to Albuquerque, New Mexico to train. So I had a lot of time at home with my daughter and my wife, and I'd get a lot of home workouts in, and then I train strength and conditioning at a gym called Ford Strength back in Sioux Falls, and they said it's a small gym, so they were able to stay open the whole time. So I was able to stay in shape. And then, home workouts. I have a 6-year-old daughter, so everything I did, I had my daughter on my back, so that, added a 50-pound weight, so that doesn't hurt. But yeah, I mean, it definitely was difficult. This will be my shortest camp, I believe, but at this point, it's been my best camp, and I'm in probably the best shape I've been in. So it's just like, the whole situation, it's a scary situation. Just leaving the house has been scary at some points through this, like you read the news or see the news and stuff like that, and they're telling you not to leave the house, stay in, but you have to go get a workout in or something, or just to feel sane. You go crazy if you stay in the house all day. And in South Dakota, we didn't shut down all that much like other states did. So we were able to leave the house, and but it adds to the excitement of it. It's a kind of a scary situation going into this fight. And
sorry, continue.
Oh, it's a scary situation going into this fight, but it makes it that much more fun and that much more exciting doing something that nobody else is doing except the UFC fighters.
Are you excited to fight with no fans there? Or are you what are your thoughts on that?
I think it'll be fun because I can talk to the other guy. It adds an aspect. And the fans kind of get to know you a little bit better because on TV they can't hear what you're saying in the cage and stuff like that, or even pick up on small stuff that you're doing. With no crowd, they can, and watch some of the fights. It's just funny seeing the guys react to the commentators and stuff like that. So it adds aspect to it.
So Devin, your current record, you're 11-4. So out of those 11 wins, which one would you say was your biggest win, and who was it against?
I suppose the biggest one would be Darko Stasic over in Sweden was a pretty big one. But for me, the last one's always the biggest win. And in the last fight, even if it's a win or lose, the last fight's always the biggest one because you learn from it either way. So, and you always try to grow off of that.
Yeah. Build winning streaks and continue.
Mm-hmm.
Is it still in the back of your head that you need your first finish in the UFC?
Every fight I want to get the finish. It doesn't happen but it is in the back of my head. But I'm continuing to grow, and the knockouts will come. The legacy will come. Everything will come. This will be I think my 10th fight in the UFC. So, I'm not new in the UFC by any means, but I've got a lot of cage time. I've learned so much, especially from my 4 losses, a couple knockouts, a couple submissions. I've learned a lot, and I've gone against some really good guys. So a lot of up and comers, guys that they're going to be big too, that I will see down the road here. And that's when I'll have my chance to knock them out. So.
Yeah, it's great to hear, and I think a lot of people. I think that's great for you. We do believe that your first, it will come. It will
Yeah.
100% come.
But at the same time, like I'm all right with being a wrestling guy, and apparently the UFC is too. I think I'm on my third or fourth contract or something like that, and I use my wrestling and just my dominance and athleticism, and it it works, you know. So if I have to go out there and wrestle a guy to death and totally control a grown man for 15 minutes, people don't realize that's a lot harder to do than knocking someone out.
Yeah.
And that's just kind of been my life. I started wrestling when I was 7 years old, so I'm used to just controlling.
Having the gas tank to go all 3 rounds.
Yep.
Yeah, honestly, I think if you get your hand raised at the end, it doesn't really matter how you beat them.
Mm-hmm. Yep. As long as you're dominant with it and have fun with it, it's good.
Yeah. So a question that I wanted to ask you was, how did you get noticed and offered a contract, your first contract by the UFC?
It was a title fight with the RFA, and it was Dana White was there looking for a fight, so he was filming that, and I was fighting a tough Brazilian guy, black belt. He was actually Glover Teixeira's training partner, so it was kind of it was one of us was going to get signed, and ended up making him quit. He didn't answer the bell for the third round because he supposedly broke his finger or whatever, but that was just one of the things. I took control of the fight and he quit. And my wrestling was really dominant in that fight. I think he broke his finger on I took on a takedown. It was just a super aggressive takedown, and I believe that's what got me into the UFC in the first place.
Yeah. Dana White looking for a fight with Matt Serra, that's a pretty cool place to get noticed on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's a good memory.
How do you feel about your upcoming fight against Alonzo Menafield?
I feel great about it. He's a knockout guy. He likes to knock people out in the first couple minutes, and I've faced those guys before, and those guys that were supposed to knock me out in a couple minutes. Darko Stasic was one of them. He didn't have any long fights. A lot of his fights didn't go past the first round, and we went all 3 rounds. And I don't even think he slammed me good once, but he didn't come close to knocking me out. I actually dropped him. So. These guys that have knockout power, that's cool and all, but it doesn't faze me, and I get pretty hyped for these kind of fights.
I got something. So, what is the worst injury that's ever happened to you while fighting in MMA?
I haven't had anything too serious. I've broke my foot a couple times, my thumb a couple times, and my hand a couple times. But that's about it. Nothing came out of the skin, nothing like that. So, just, a few broken bones. That's about it.
Yeah, I've broken a couple bones myself.
And that's just, you don't even notice it until the fight's over anyway. So, it's part of the sport.
Yeah. Is there anything you want people to know about Devin Clark that they might not know already?
I love country music. A lot of people don't know that, I suppose. They look at me, I'm, brown guy, whatever, but I grew up in the country, and I love country music, love outdoors, love my truck, hunting, fishing, all that stuff. So that's the type of guy I am.
Yeah, I love country music too. Who's your favorite artist?
Actually, I don't know if you've heard of him because it's kind of underground country rap. Ryan Upchurch or Struggle Jennings, or Adam Calhoun. Those are some of my top artists that I listen to, and they're really underrated. A lot of people just know, but
I've never heard of them, but I'm sure they're great.
Check them out. You'll like them.
All right, bet.
And the last question that we wanted to ask you today was, who is your biggest inspiration?
I try to take inspiration from pretty much everybody around me, my family, especially my dad, my brother. My brother, he had a gunshot accident at a young age, and he was actually a better athlete than I was. 10 times the athlete I was, and he was going big places, and he had a gunshot accident and that ruined his athletic career. But at that point, I kind of had to step up and be a little more of a big brother at that age with the brain injury and stuff like that. But he's a guy that he never quit. He still plays softball and stuff like that, and he has got 4 kids now. But for him to not lose that vigor through everything he went through, that's a huge inspiration for me. But also, my parents and my family, my wife. So.
Yeah, I mean, always good to have your family around.
Yeah, I come from a tough family. They're tough people, and like my dad, he's in my corner every fight. So, and I know there's a few guys like Chris. I think Chris Weidman had his dad in his corner too. But the difference is my dad. He doesn't know a whole lot about. He's not a technical MMA guy, but he came from the streets.
Mm-hmm.
He grew up rough, so he knows about fighting and knows how to that intensity that a fight needs to have. So that's part of the thing that he brings apart.
Okay, so I think that's it for today. Devin, we want to thank you so much for coming on. It really means a lot to us for that you came on, and we want to wish you good luck in UFC 250. We'll be rooting for you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it, guys.
Yeah, no problem.
Don't forget to like and subscribe this video. And signing off today, your hosts, I'm Aiden.
And I'm Jeremy.
And everybody have a good day. Thank you.